Hello journaling friends, welcome to my quiet and cozy little space. Today I thought I would do a little walkthrough, I guess, or a review of how I'm using my journals 3 months into the year. At the start of the year I had ideas on how I want to use these 3 journals, or 2 journals and a planner, and I'm pleased to report that I am still using them exactly how I set out to do at the start of January. In saying that, it doesn't matter if I change it up. Obviously, they're my journals. I can do what I like when I like. But I do like that I have really enjoyed using them in the way that I had planned to at the start of the year. So 3 months in, these 2 journals and my planner are still going strong, which is fun. I have done flip throughs of January, February and March in previous videos if you want to go and watch any of those. And that's like a full flip through of my Hobonichi Cousin for those months. But since I haven't done a flip through for April just yet, I thought today I would do a Techo Kaigi, if you will, for January through March. So these are my 3 main notebooks, I guess. I use my Hobonichi Cousin as my joy journal. So in this I do lots of decorating, memory keeping, commonplacing, just sticking down ephemera, essentially whatever I feel like doing on the day, but it is purely my joy journal. So I don't do any kind of memory keeping, I guess, or writing down of difficult moments or challenges or anything like that in here, because when I flip through this book, I want to just be reading fun stuff that's happened in my life. I really find this works for me. I bought my first Hobonichi Cousin in 2024. So for 24 and 25, I did exactly the same thing. It was just purely my joy journal. So I'm really enjoying that, and I feel like I'm going to keep doing this as the years go on, unless I have different ideas. I do also have a stream of consciousness, I think it's called, where you just write down whatever you're thinking, repetitious thoughts, ruminating, basically anything I just feel like I need to get off my mind. I write into a separate little notebook. Actually, I'll show you what that looks like. So this is it. I have nearly finished this little notebook. I think I've only got a few pages left, but essentially this is just where I come to write down thoughts. I don't ever read back over this. It's more a way for me to, just clear my mind. I might not pick this up for weeks or even months sometimes, and then I'll find myself just picking it up. Usually in the morning if I wake up and my mind is full of too many thoughts, then I'll open this and just write down all of those thoughts. They don't have to make sense. It doesn't have to be cohesive because I'm not going to come back and read it. So I usually started off with what are my thoughts or what are my feelings right now, and then I just let them all basically go onto the paper, if that makes sense. So that's just that. And then my traveler's notebook, which I picked up in August of 2025, but I only really started using it properly toward the end of last year, now has really taken on a life of her own. I love this journal so much, this notebook. As you can see, I've got quite a bit going on in there. I go into this journal every single day. I don't go into my Hobonichi Cousin every single day. This is more like sitting down and, spending hours decorating, and when I'm in my sort of journaling mood, I guess. Whereas with my traveler's notebook, I go into this every day, and I'll show you why in a moment. And then I've got my Hobonichi Weeks, which I did have one of these last year, and I started off in January. I think I might have used it for a month or 2 and then completely dropped off. And then I picked it up again toward the end of 2025, I think the last 2 or 3 months, after seeing my friend Zoe using theirs. And I started using it just for work stuff, planning and basically mapping out my week and my month ahead for my work. This year, however, I'm using both the monthly pages and the weekly pages, and I absolutely love it, and I'm still going strong into May. I'm not going to do full flip throughs of each because it would just take too long. This video would end up being hours long, but I do have my January, February and March flip throughs for my Hobonichi Cousin in separate videos on my channel if you want to check those out. I don't think I've done a flip through of any of my traveler's notebook just yet. I might have done a how it's looking, how I'm using it kind of thing, wrap up at 6 months, I think. But anyway, I'll do kind of quick flip throughs, I guess. So let's start with my traveler's notebook. So on the cover, I have little charms that I've collected. A Mormon charm that I got in Finland. A traveler's notebook charm that I picked up in Japan. Japanese 5 yen. I think I always forget if this is 5 or 10. It's yen anyway. This charm I got from my friend Nina, and this is from my pen pal Laura. So cute. And I've got another little one on the side that I picked up in Finland, the Mormon house. She's really chunky because I've put all of the inserts in here. Actually, I also have a stamp insert, an Eki stamp insert that, you know, I collect stamps when I'm traveling. So obviously that doesn't sit in there all the time because I'm not using it, but when I'm traveling, then it goes back in there. So I have the little clear, what do you call this, pocket insert thing. I will stick more stuff in here, but for now I've just got a little print that Laura sent me and a sweet little poem or saying that I really like to read regularly, and some washi tape samples. This is my, what started off as a habit tracker. I was trying to set myself up for some, I guess, daily rituals and habits that I do want and habits that I don't want. Like I was sort of, I guess, documenting them to try and hold myself accountable. And to be fair, I did that for maybe 3 or 4 months and it really helped. I have completely eliminated the need and the habit of looking at my phone before I go to bed or when I'm in bed. So no touching of my phone, no scrolling, and also not looking at my phone in the morning when I first wake up. So I used to not want to do those things, but occasionally I would still, you know, just forget or pick up my phone out of habit and do them. But once I started documenting those things or like recording if I had done them, it really, like I said, it held me accountable. So I just stopped doing them because I wanted to see, you know, my little habit tracker. I wanted to see it looking productive, I guess. So over the first few months, it was really just sort of tracking those things, and then now it's moved on to something else, but I'll show you. It's nothing fancy. It's just a little, I just put some little habits. You know, I started off with, you know, not wanting to look at my screen in the morning, making sure I go for my morning walk, not eating any sugar, and so on. And over time, those things just became my normal. So I go for a morning walk every single day now. I am eating very little sugar and I am not looking at my screen at all in bed. And then somewhere, so that started in October, and then somewhere around March, April, I started to track more moods rather than habits, because I have been addressing, I guess, what you can call perimenopause symptoms, which if you're a woman and if you're in a similar age bracket to me, you may also be experiencing them. So I have been keeping this tracker purely so I could, you know, show my medical health professionals what's happening, and it has really helped so much. So I feel like I've got things under some kind of control. I know when it comes to hormones, I don't think that's ever entirely possible because hormones just do whatever they want, but there are things that I do now that definitely help. So I found this really helpful for that. I don't know if I'm going to keep continuing it. I think I will for the next month or two, but I feel like for now, I'm really happy with how things are going. So that's how that looks. Sorry about this noise. And then I have my travel junk insert. So this was essentially sticking down all the ephemera that I picked up when I went on my last Japan trip. I went there for Christmas last year. And although I do my memory keeping of my travels in my Hobonichi Cousin, I wanted to have this insert purely just to stick down ephemera. So some of the ephemera does go into my Hobonichi Cousin, and then the leftover, you know, what I don't want to sort of stick down with memories as such on those Hobonichi Cousin pages, then that ephemera just goes in here. So I think I only have a couple of spreads left. So I'll do a little flip through, I guess, just to show you. Some of these bits of ephemera do still hold memories. I remember obviously where I picked this up from and, you know, pretty much most of the ephemera throughout these pages, but the way I've just stuck them down is really just for decoration, I guess. So yeah. These are just little things that I just can't bear to throw out when I'm traveling, especially in Japan. Lots of little tip-ins, I think they're called. I'm not going to sort of take too much time with this, but yeah, just showing you how it's looking so far. I love it. I really love the pink craft pages. I had the idea to grab this before I went to Japan, purely so that I could stick ephemera into it, and I love how it looks so much. I think I'm going to get another one next time I travel. I haven't finished some of these pages, so there's still, yeah, some spots where I, you know, would like to still stick little bits down, which I will do. I have so much ephemera left over. Oh, that's hard to... Why was that so hard? All my favourite hair care and skincare products. Moomin Shop, of course. Definitely need to put more on these two spreads, where I've just stuck down a brochure from a tower that I went to in Yokohama. I love it so much. I flip through here quite a lot actually. Just gaze at all the cute little bits of junk that I stashed while I was there and brought home with me. A little Yumi Kirigishi gacha brochure. Oh, I really love this. I love it so much. Stationery packaging ephemera. If you've seen any of my Journal With Me videos, you know that I am obsessed with Japanese stationery and the packaging. So, of course I keep it. I don't know why I'm having trouble turning these pages today. I think my fingers are too cold. It is really cold here. Well, cold by my standards. Yeah, okay, it is because my fingers are cold. They don't want to be dexterous. I'm obsessed with Soupstock Tokyo. And that's it. So I've got two spreads left. Oh my goodness. Wait, yes, I've got two left. Oh no, oh, three. Yep, 3 spreads left. Oh, I have so much more ephemera. I might need to get another one. Anyway, that's my travel junk journal. And then I have my Happy Mail log. I have a few pen pals now, and I wanted to document receiving letters and also when I send letters to pen pals. So I decided to just make a completely separate insert to this rather than them getting lost in the pages of my Hobonichi Cousin. So this way I can come and, you know, look at all of the mail that I've sent and received in the one spot. And I love this. This has turned out way more enjoyable than I thought it would. I really enjoy sitting down to actually update this. It makes me stop or slow down rather when it comes to looking at mail that I'm receiving from my pen pals, you know, rather than just opening the letter and then, you know, obviously reading the letter, and then if they've generously included any little bits of stationery, that the stationery then just getting put into a pile kind of thing, or me using it this way, because I am documenting a little bit and it might just be little snippets of things that they've sent me. I don't know, it's really nice. It makes me slow down and really appreciate all the bits and pieces. So that's what that looks like. So I started this in July 2025. I'd say it will probably last a few years, or at least a year or two, maybe. So yeah, just I date it and put the person's name, the pen, or not just pen pals. I've got friends. Nina's a friend who lives locally to me, and when we catch up, she always spoils me with some stationery. Postcards that I'd sent to friends when I was in Finland. I love sending postcards when I'm traveling. So yeah, I really enjoy doing this. It also gives me a spot to stick down, some stamps that come on the mail, on the envelopes, little bits of, stickers and whatnot that they send me or give me, which is very generous of them. This was me in Japan, sitting at a cafe and sending postcards to friends. How cute is that little sticker? And then I have some little updates that need to go in. The reason I document them here is obviously when I receive a letter or a postcard, I will take a photo of them. Or if I've opened the envelope and there's things inside, then I kind of scatter them around and take a photo of what's included in the envelope. So that's in my camera roll, but I also just make a little note here of the date that I received them to remind myself so I don't forget to put them in. So yeah, that is that. And then at the very last insert is my sticker release notebook insert, which I love this. I do have so many more stickers to put in here. These are mostly stickers from my pen pals and friends. So yeah, I do have more. I think I've got 2 letters that I received in the last couple of weeks that I need to pop the stickers in here. So that is my traveler's notebook, and then at the back I've just got some stickers that Nina gifted me in my little plastic envelope pouch thing. I can't find my words today. I feel like I will put more stuff in here. I just haven't got around to it. I only put this in here when I came back from Japan. I picked this up in Japan, so it's only been in here for a few months. So that is my traveler's notebook. It is very chunky. To be fair, I don't have all of these inserts in here all the time. The sticker release one usually just floats around on my desk, and the Happy Mail log comes out and goes in depending on when I'm updating it. But I just put them all in here so you could see what my traveler's notebook looks like usually. I love her so much. When I first started journaling in 2024, I only had my Hobonichi Cousin, and I just didn't see how I would ever use any other journals or notebooks. I thought that all of my journaling would just go into the one book, which for 2024 it did. Then in 2025, I did start with the weeks at the beginning of the year, picked it up again at the end of the year, but for the bulk of 25, I just used my Hobonichi Cousin. And then I did pick this up, as I mentioned, in August of last year, but I only started using it toward the end. And this year, she's getting a full workout. So that is that. And I think we'll go on to my weeks next because I want to leave my cousin for last. So my weeks I use in 2 different ways. I'll just open it first so we can have a look what's inside. Little pages from my daily flip calendar, my paper message calendar, which I love. None of these get thrown out. Stickers from pen pals. This is from my Kin Shiatani flip calendar. I have 2 of them. And then just a bit of scrap paper that I had written on. And then for the monthly pages, so I use these pages purely for work-related stuff. So I am a freelancer and I need to be very diligent when it comes to my workflow. It's very easy to have a day off and then, the next day think I'm going to go and sit on my desk and do some photo editing or admin or whatever it needs doing. And then getting distracted by something, and next thing I'm in the backyard mowing the lawn, or I'm going to the shops, and then I'm cooking meals, and the work just gets pushed aside, from one day to the next. So I find by having this, I am more diligent in mapping out my week. And actually I kind of map out my entire month so that I know which days I'll use to get editing done. It's a bit hard to explain, but yeah, basically if I have, 3, 4, 5, 6, even more weddings to edit in my pile of editing, I need to keep on track and make sure that I am spending enough time each week editing so that that little pile doesn't turn into a huge backlog. That has happened before. It's taken me many, many, many years to master this kind of workflow, I guess. It still drops off sometimes. I have days where I'm like, I just do not want to be sitting at my desk today, and then everything gets pushed back, which is fine. I do leave some empty days for that. So I obviously have days like designated days off where I'm like, okay, so Saturday and Sunday this week, I'm doing all of my journaling and I'm not going to be looking at a screen for those 2 full days. But then also I have other days where I just, kind of keep it empty. And then that way, if I'm a bit distracted or I'm feeling slack and don't want to do what I've allocated for a particular day when it comes to my editing, I do have that kind of, I guess, day's grace, if that makes sense. I'm probably rambling now. But anyway, so all of my work related, my business related stuff I put in here, just little reminders of what I need to do, updates on my website and whatnot. So I love this. I look at this every day. I document everything that needs to be done. Sometimes I'll get like DMs on Instagram, business related questions, things I need to follow up. If I don't jot that down, that DM's just getting lost. So I'll actually pop things, little reminders in here as well for myself. So that's January, February, March. And then for the weekly pages, I am using this more for like, I guess, daily life planning. I don't really plan, I guess I do in some way plan what I'm doing, especially when it comes to work, like what I'm doing daily. But I also just pop things in here like, in summer, I really try and get down to the beach whenever it's really hot. So I would actually put here that, I'm going for a beach swim. If I look ahead and I can see that it's going to be 35 degrees or hotter, I'll pop those, I guess, little reminders in here so that, I don't know, it's kind of like a little prompt, I guess, if that's the right way to put it. I find that really, really helps me. And then just some little ideas that I come up with for content that I want to make for YouTube or Instagram. Usually when I go for my morning walk, my mind gets very creative and I think of so many good ideas, or what I think are good ideas, of things that I want to video and share with you here and on Instagram. So when I get home, if I've thought of something during my walk, I'll get home and quickly jot it down in here. So that is January. Again, not wasting the little daily flip calendar pages. Yeah, see, I write down if it's going to be really hot. Beach days. Those days are gone now for a few more months. And I got the idea of Zoe to decorate these pages. So I noticed Zoe did, I think it was like plan with me, journal with me kind of video on YouTube once where they decorated for the week ahead in their Hobonichi Weeks. And I loved that idea. So I do that now as well. Thank you, Zoe. And yeah, usually I just pick a color theme, how I'm feeling at the time. This one was, cream, lilac, some pink in there and blue ink. This one was going heavy on the green. So yeah. I also do this to try and make sure I use some of my pens that don't really get used that much in my Hobonichi Cousin. Pink's always my favorite. So yeah, so this is kind of an extension also of my monthly pages in that on this day on these days, I'll pop down like the core of what I want to be doing for the day, as in which gallery I'm editing, whether I'm culling it, editing it or finishing it, which is basically a whole day's process as well because I've got to load the gallery online and then ultimately I go back over it and tweak a few photos here and there. So yeah, I actually map those out because I know how long it takes me to do those things now. And then on these pages, it's, I'll just put work as in I know that I'm actually going to be sitting at my desk and doing some editing or admin work, and little reminders like here, I had to do some admin in my BAS. Insta and YouTube content. All of the warm days, oh my gosh. And then if I've got little love hearts, they're the days I'm shooting weddings. So obviously that's all I'm focusing on those days. And in my monthly pages, I do pop those in as well. You know, I'll have the days that I'm doing weddings as well. And that is it for March, January, February, March. That was a low deco day, or week rather. I love it. I don't know how I wouldn't use this now, because wanting to get more into an analog lifestyle on a daily kind of basis, I guess, means by having this, I'm not in my phone as much. I put very few reminders or notes in my calendar on my phone now. The only thing I really have in there is appointments, and you know, that's so I have little reminders when I need to head off and stuff, because I don't want to keep looking at the time all the time. So yeah, my calendar now is purely just appointments, and all of my other daily planning goes in here, and work planning. And then on to the big baby, my Hobonichi Cousin. I love this journal so much. As I mentioned, I have done a flip through for January, February and March as separate videos. So I'm not going to do a full flip through, but I'm just going to show you how I'm using each section. So the cover, this will eventually get, I'm assuming, more stickers as the year goes on. And same in here. My 24 and 25 Hobonichi Cousin covers were completely covered by the end of the year with stickers. All the cute things from my pen pals. I'm not using these monthly, what are they called? Verticals? My monthly pages are just a mishmash of anything and everything that I feel like doing at the time. Some ephemera. I make little reminder notes in here, or memories rather. So that's January, February, March. And then the weekly pages. So how I had set out to use this at the beginning of the year is exactly how I'm still using it. Again, I'm not going to do a full flip through because I've already done them, but this just gives you an idea on how my weeks look in my Hobonichi Cousin. Screenshots, things that I like, that I see online that grab my attention, especially on Instagram, get printed and stuck in here. Little reminders, stationery and ephemera. Stationery from pen pals and ephemera. So yeah, I'm really loving these weekly pages. And then we go to the daily pages. I think actually, we've got this turning the page to a new year, which I decided I was going to sort of document my highs. And these are things that, little moments where I've practiced some mindfulness, you know, that's like significant. I mean, I meditate regularly and do deep breathing and whatnot, but like mindfulness as in almost if I've had a little epiphany, or what I feel like is I guess kind of like an achievement for me mentally, if that makes sense. I'm probably not explaining myself properly. Some personal highs, some creative whims, some what I call gold star moments, things that, you know, have felt like, I guess, a really nice step into a direction that I want to go into with things. So that's that. I definitely will decorate this page a little bit more as time goes on. Yeah, these are my daily pages. Again, I'm not going to do a full flip through, but just to give you an idea how they're looking. I do need to do my April flip through, which I will do in the coming weeks. Last year, I didn't get to do the flip throughs each month. I don't know, I just kept forgetting. I think because I started my channel in April, so I was trying to catch up. And then they're not really time consuming, but you know, to sit down, I guess, and go through each page does probably take about an hour. It's not that time consuming. I have an empty page there. I do make little notes on pages that are empty where I don't have anything documented for the day that I want to put on there. So this will just get decorated, or I'll swatch on it. some junk journaling in here as well. So yeah, these daily pages are a bit of everything. I mean, this whole journal is a bit of everything, as long as it's something that I want to look back over and enjoy. It's all my joyful moments. It's memory keeping. The day that Zoe and I visited each other's Animal Crossing islands, so much fun. Hanging out with friends. Some days are just sticking down cute stationery. Using up the daily calendar pages because I don't want to throw them out. So yeah, this is how I use my daily pages. So this also hasn't changed. I'm still doing exactly this into, what are we now, May? So yeah, I think from what I can remember, exactly how I started out using my pages in January, or how I had planned at the end of last year before I bought my new journal, is exactly how I'm still using them. So that's it. And again, I have done a March flip through. I think it was my most recent video. If you want to go and check that out, I'm not going to flip through the pages now. This was inspired by Laura. I used to keep the little produce stickers, but just stick them willy-nilly throughout my journal. And then Laura showed me a page where she had been sticking them onto the one page. So I've been doing that now as well. It's so fun, especially now because I'm eating a lot of fruit and veggies recently, or in the last few months. So yeah, I have a lot of produce stickers, and I eat a lot of peanut butter. Anyway, I won't go into the March because you can see that in my last flip through. So that is it. Oh, actually, hang on. This is my little MD notebook where I am documenting, I guess, ideas for content. I have recently signed up for a couple of brand deals with brands that I absolutely love. Some collaborations, I guess, which is so exciting and so fun. I can't wait to share them with you. So I wanted a space where I could not only write down the ideas and map out, you know, the time frame to get that content created and also posted and whatnot. It's just more of a way that I'm not missing something. I mean, I obviously keep email folders for the brands separate so I can go in and check out, you know, the info that I need when I'm creating the content. But also on paper, I'm definitely going to be more, what's the word? On track. I'm going to keep on track more if it's written down in one spot. So basically I just jot down all key points that I need for each of the brand deals, and also just content that I want to make for my channel and Instagram. So that is that. So that is it. That is my journal lineup, my Techo Kaigi for January, February, March of this year. I love that I am still using them all. As I mentioned last year, I was only really using my Hobonichi Cousin. I wasn't sure if I would get a lot of enough use out of having my traveler's notebook as well, but I totally am, as you can tell. I am loving it, and I can't see myself not using this lineup in months to come. So I might do another little Techo Kaigi at the 6-month mark, maybe, see how we go. I mean, if nothing really changes, is there any point? But maybe I will. We'll see. So thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out with me for this fun walkthrough of my current journal lineup. If you feel so inclined, leave me a comment and let me know, what are you journaling in this year? Have you changed your journal lineup in the last 3-4 months, or are you comfortable and happy with what you're doing with your journals so far into the year? Lovely as always hanging out with you, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.